जय हिंद दोस्तों, मैं हूं मेजर मोहम्मद अली शाह और अभी मैं गुफ्तगू में होऊंगा मेरे एक बहुत ही खास दोस्त जिनके साथ हमने ट्रेनिंग करी है और अपने एकेडमी डेज में साथ में फ्रंट रोलिंग करी है, बहुत झगड़ा खाया है साथ में। मेजर खोंगसाई भाई, ये बहुत बहादुर ऑफिसर हैं। ये मणिपुर के बारे में जानते हैं और जब एकेडमी में हम आए थे ट्रेनिंग करने के लिए, और क्योंकि मैं मणिपुर में रहा था, पहले से ही रह के आया था, मैं काफी कुछ जानता था मणिपुर के बारे में, तो मैंने सबसे पहले आके इनको कहा था, खोंगसाई आप मणिपुर से हैं, आई नंगनुंगचे। तो खोंगसाई खूब हंसे। उसके बाद खोंगसाई को मैंने बोला कि जो मणिपुरी भाषा में जो मैंने पहले लफ्ज जो दो लफ्ज सीखे थे, वो तो खैर मैं अभी नहीं बोलूंगा यहाँ पे लाइव टेलीकास्ट पे, मगर खोंगसाई को पता है वो दो लफ्ज क्या है। बट एनीवे, हम बात करेंगे अभी एक बहुत ही सीरियस मुद्दे पे। देखिए, मणिपुर इज बर्निंग एंड मणिपुर, लेट मी टेल यू, इट्स वन ऑफ द मोस्ट ब्यूटीफुल प्लेसेस आई हैव एवर बीन टू। ब्यूटीफुल पीपल, the Nagas, the Kukis, the Maites, the Paites, the entire the Muslim community of Manipur, everyone is like so good. And that entire area, right from More, Tengnopal, Palel, Thobal, Kakshin, Soravasti, Imphal, Mantri Pokri, you name it all. I mean, such a nice Jopi, Samtal, बहुत ही अच्छी जगह है। खैर, हम बात करते हैं खोंगसाई से, मेजर खोंगसाई से। खोंगसाई, टेल मी व्हाट इज द इशू बेसिकली। मैं हम ये समझना चाह रहे हैं आपसे, प्रॉब्लम क्या हो रही है मणिपुर में। हम देख रहे हैं अखबार में, समाचार में, अभी मेरे को
yes
जी।
It's my privilege to be here, and thank you so much for having me here, Ali, my friend, and my company types in the academy. It is my privilege to have a chat with you on heart-to-heart basis. As you said, Manipur is such a beautiful place. But in Manipur, there are different types of peoples. We can, in one way, call it's a mini India. And broadly in Manipur, the communities are divided into three dominant heads: the Meiteis, the Nagas, and the Kukis. The Meiteis dominates the valley, and Kukis and Nagas in the hills. The political aspirations of the hills and the political aspirations of the valleys at times are sometimes different, and it's the issues are there. But what happened right now is very, very foolhardiness, and it's totally uncalled for. And this could have been avoided. As you said, it is the political rights of every nation, every individual in India to express his or her desire and aspirations. There's a constitution and people have the right to do that. But the kind of violence and the kind of unfoldings, what is happening in Manipur right now is totally avoidable, especially if the state and if the central government give a little bit of more attention, because the political aspirations could be solved politically, and the right to agitate and the right to demand for the aspirations should be taken care of as per the constitution and as per the laid down rules given by the constitutions. And as you said, I am a proud Indian. First, you and I share the same uniform, and with proud and pride, we serve the nations. We stand in the border for the idea of India. What is the idea of India? The idea of India is everyone can express his or her will and live with pride. This is what is lacking right now in Manipur. And
very well said.
I can add on, but if you can, and the unfortunate incidents of 3rd May is unfortunate, but the more unfortunate thing is what is following after that. How the government react, this is a quite one thing, especially from the center side. The interventions are quite minimal and slow, and this could have been avoided. And the other thing is, you and I should know the capability of India. You and I knows the capability of India. If the will of the government is there, this could have been subsided in a day or two, maximum 2 days. You and I know the capability of India. If these are not done, we, you, and the proud Indians should fail to believe in the strength of India, because these are very sensitive issue, and the peace should return as soon as possible. And you know the lack of amenities in the, what do you call it, rehabilitation areas and all that, these are alarming, and these are not expected to be in India. In India, uh, it is not a war between different nation. It is just a misunderstanding, or you know uh, within the states. So in this, the actions from the states and the action from the centers is very, very much lagging.
Major Khongsai, I really appreciate your views, brother. I mean, such mature, balanced, neutral. I mean, amazing. I can only expect this coming from an army officer, from a former army officer.
Mhm.
So that is the way. I mean, just 3 nights back, late at night, about 10:30 at night, another coursemate of ours, another Manipuri coursemate of ours, he gave me a call, and he told me,
Yeah.
Ali, the Manipur is burning. I said, no, I don't know. About 3-4 nights back ki baat hai ye. So I said, no, I don't know. He sent me he said, this is what's happening in Manipur. And unfortunately, not us, it hasn't come in the mainstream media. So people in the mainstream, they don't know. In the mainland, they don't know that that's happening in Manipur right now. I said, oh, is it so? Let me just try. And I took the liberty of calling up one former very fine Director General Assam Rifles, Lieutenant General Shaukin Chauhan, very fine officer.
Mhm.
I asked him, sir, this is what's happening. So he said, yeah, I know this issue. So I requested him if he could come the way for a 10-minute live with me, the way you have kindly graced. He said, for you, son, I'll do it. He had come to Delhi for colleagues, for soldiers' daughter's wedding. So we spoke on the issue. And
Yes.
I sent that clip to various channels and where give analysis and all. And now, thankfully, people at least know what's happening in Manipur. Only when people know can action be taken. I mean, it is really sad when I saw the visuals of houses getting burned, women and children suffering, old men, old people. I mean, senior citizens suffering. It's really, really terrible. Dil ko yahan pe dukhi, because I consider myself from the hills myself, and I love the Northeast because do tenure hue hain Northeast mein.
Yes.
And
Yes.
before I Fauj, and before Khongsai, you know how much I love entire Manipur, be ho, Nagaland ho, Mizoram ho, Tripura ho, Assam ho, be it Meghalaya. I love Northeast basically. I mean, it is something. So tell me, Khongsai, I mean, you think people are going? Unfortunately, it should not flare up. I hope not. Do you see it actually coming out of Manipur and actually flaring up? I hope not.
Yes, actually, that is what our prayer and I hope. But it is stretching far, much far than expected. As you said, it's a tiny stage, and if the will of the government is there, it can be subsided very soon. You know the mighty power of India. You and I know the strength of India. Somehow now I fail to understand, and I fail to doubt uh, you know the will of the government. There's a lethargic seems to be approach in the side of the government, and in one way also, see, the combinations of the minority and majority thing, whatever things, destruction, anything, costs are just almost one sided. It could be 10 is to 90. So in that way, this is rampant, a in one way, sometimes it's tend to look state sponsor, you know, what do you call it, a, a misadventure, especially against the cookie. So in that way, it is very, very unfortunate. And as you said, the Manipur is such a beautiful country, and the strength of the our my fellow mates uh, are the soft power. They are so sophisticated, caring. That was the nature of my brilliant this one. But how come this turned into such a sort of a goons moving from one place to another and destroying one property to another? And mind you, in the to you must be shocking, almost 50 plus, all 40 to between 40 to 50 churches are burned down, you know that. So in that way, this sort of trying to turn a tide into that, religious angles and all that, this should be totally avoided. And I want to convey that this doesn't have anything to do with the religious angle. Totally, this doesn't have anything to do with that. You have visit here, and the fundamentalism of the Christian and the Hindus here. We are, living together here as and you must have learned the proud history of the cookies since the India War of Independence. We are proud to fight the British and block the British for 3 years, and we call it the Anglo Cookie Wars. But the British record that as a cookie rising, and yes, in the perspective of the British, the rising it would be it could be, because even the in 1957 India, the first war of independence that we are very proud of, is in the perspective of the British, they call it as a Sepoy Mutiny. So in that way, we have that type of a proud history. And the other thing is that the contribution of the cookies in the INA movement, we are proud to contribute almost 80% from the Manipurs, the INA cadres, the Netaji Subhash Chandra Bose Army, National Army, Indian National Armies are from the cookies. That proud history we have. And in one way, the sentiment which hard to some extent of the cookies, the media very turn out to be biased, and because of the turmoil situation in the Burmese, a handful of people being the both side of the borders are of the same peoples. Some people sneak out. Life is precious for everyone. So the majority in the areas have trying to tarnish the image of the cookie population as a what do we call क्या है, refugee or something like that. And in that sort of things, hurt the sentiments of quite a number of people, which are totally avoided. And as you said, a different community aspire for a little bit protection from the constitution. That is totally a legitimate demand. So in that way, there's no there's the center who will decide for it there. And when two peoples and when two communities have a problem, then we are. What I think is we have a centers. We have a who can see between us, and who can say enough is enough and no more damage, no more this. Then that sort of eagerness, that sort of what do you call it, a energy and hastiness in trying to solve the problem is a little bit of lacking. Then my campaign and my my appeal, say, might be to the top boss, the honorary prime ministers and the home ministers, the interventions, and this should be curbed and should normalcy be returned as early as possible. You and I, the only prime minister is the people's prime ministers. Even I know, and I remember the attending his first, a Independence Day's address in 2014, where I was in Delhi, still serving in the army. I myself just went to see the first speech. The hope the people have is amazing. But when at times, whether the honorable prime ministers really walk the talks, sometimes really is, in the minds. I don't, that type of questioning should not creep on, and it should not a thing that, that should be a very, very, not so, every Indian should be, I find it, proud and have the, should have and could have hopes from the top bosses. And this time, I realize the power of the constitution, the importance of a paper. You don't believe me. I don't exactly remember the dates. I think this sort of misadventures starts on the 3rd of May. Maybe on 5th or 6th, I was watching eagerly the Northeast news, and I just see a line, the Article 355 imposed, and the importance connotation to it. And this sort of responsibility, constitutional responsibility, it really mean when we are in need of it. I realized that time when things are normal and when it doesn't affect us, it doesn't. It seems to be just a piece of paper. But my appeal to the top bosses who have the authority to send a peace message, please, I appeal once again, the person who are in a responsible jail, don't please be very miser when it comes to emergency in terms of this crisis. Please be magnanimous and please be hasty in trying to solve the problem. That is my appeal.
Right. There's a comment over there by viewer Shobha Shirole who writes, Manipur not a country, it's a state. Yes, Shobha, you have a point. But, let me clarify that for Shobha Khongsai, then you speaking. Shobha, if you notice, Major Khongsai opened this talk by saying he's a very proud Indian. So, of course, it was a slip of tongue, Shobha. And I'm sure it's like, I would tell you because I have trained with Major Khongsai shoulder to shoulder. We know we have gone through the hard rigors of training. And it's like saying head of state, when you call a country, say head of state of Bangladesh or head of state of so-and-so. So it's not state, it's a country. Similarly, I'm sure Major Khongsai also meant that. So I'm just clarifying that too for Shobha Khongsai on your behalf. Khongsai,
thank you so much. Yes. At times, as you said, as a connotation, when the prime minister moves out of the country, and usually the prime ministers are called head of state. And in that way, if that sent a mixed message, then I roll it in for that. It's a head of the country, and the where the decision lies. I mean, the person who have the decision to say peace and enough. I think that I really feel that people in that chair should be very sensitive because that is really, the hope of thousands of people's are on him. So in that way, that desperations, that sensitive, the people's leaders should be sensitive to the, the feelings of the peoples. And as you know, my aspirations and the aspiration of the other communities are fair enough, but why are we taking the innocent women and children in between? These are totally unavoidable, very avoidable. And this is not our culture. This is not the culture of, as I said, as an Indian, and even as you said, as a Meitei and as a Kuki, these are not our culture. So in that way, the expressing ideology, aspirations should go on, but in human treatment, and this are a bad smell to us, to our coming generations, and even it's a very, very bad smell which we give out to the other parts of the world. That I think should have been
Correct.
avoided and totally uncalled for.
Shobha, who's
Mm.
Dauda just clarified about she's a Manipur, not a country, it's a state. Yes, so Shobha writes, thanks for both of you, sir. Welcome, Shobha. Thank you for, in fact, Shobha, thank you for asking that because Major Khongsai, it was a slip of tongue. It happens to the best of us many times. It happens. That's why, Khongsai, I must tell you this. Just 3 nights back, I was late, in the middle of the night. I was in a conversation with a very well-renowned cookie leader late at night, and what he told me was he said, I have a lot of very close Maite friends as well. And I was also in conversation with a very well renowned Maite leader late at night, midnight. He told me, I have a lot of very good, my best friend are cookies. So so both the communities have been coexisting together. And as Major Congress said, they're wonderful. Everyone's beautiful in Manipur. You must go there. I advise people who haven't gone to Manipur as yet, you must pay a visit in Manipur. You go and live there. You find what amazing hospitality. कैसे कितने अच्छे लोग हैं क्या मेहमान नवाज लोग हैं. They are really good.
Yes, yes, Ali. Actually, you see, the so-called enmity which is trying to be created. How old is it? Can you tell me? It should be 3 days old. You know that? How
Yeah.
how can that 3 days old enmity should be so grave and so painful that we don't have a dark history between the cookies and the Métis. In that way, as you said, the Manipur is such a beautiful place, and a place is not made beautiful by the sceneries and all that. It's made by the people who are there. As you said, yes. See, uh, across the communities, we have friends. My even in our Postmates, the Métis, the Kuki Nagas, we all together. Henry and this even a CHM, all this, we all are together. And I keep my hand in my heart. No feeling of any hatred. You know that? I only can feel that it's a very sad incident and so sad, so sad. And I didn't carry any baggage of hatred, no hatred at all. And these should, the aspirations, the political aspirations, and the constitutional benefits, we can aspire for it. But the poisonous hatreds between communities, and these are, poisons which should be avoided, and it doesn't serve a good purpose to either of the communities. And I call for my big brothers, I should say the Métis, and my brother Cookies, let our aspiration remain our aspiration. Let us go for it, because you and I, we can aspire, and as a mother cries as a child cries to the mother, we can ask the centers, yes, this could have been better for us. This could have been. This is our aspiration. Okay, but beyond that, going into hatreds and dirty, what we call it, what we call it, the ugly part of it, and which will have a very, very long implications in generations and generations to come. That I think we should not do it. And especially if we do that, we are spoiling our present generation. That is one. But even our future generations will not forgive us, and even our future generations will not be proud of us. You and I, Ali, let me just extend it. I am a proud Indian. As I said, I am proud to be the country where, in 1971, were more than 50,000 refugees of our opponent troops are kept as a refugee. And the head of the states, the head of the country that, let me change it again, the head of the state, the head of the country, have the time to visit and see, our refugees and ask, I hope they get food. That type of, touch is required. Can you believe it? In Imphal and in some part of Chirangpur, people are spending nights in the open without, you know, lots of basic amenities are lagging, you know, then how can we allow this big and magnanimous country to suffer that, you know, how can we shy away from seeing that? This is not acceptable as a stature of India, you know, as a stature of India. I find this is not acceptable, and the government who are who have the power to do. And you know, the power is one thing, the ability. India, we should not think that we India is that weak that we can't keep 5,000 to 10,000 displaced peoples comfortably. If we say that, we find it difficult, then that means we are disrespecting the strength of our India. I hope you believe that. You know,
Absolutely, Jose.
I know the strength of my India, and I'm proud of it. But this is my request, my humble request to the people who are in authority. Please, please don't be meager and don't be miser in this part of it.
Very well said, Khongsai. I really am very moved by your mature, balanced words. Really, Khongsai, I had the honor and privilege of you being in the audience when I came for my TEDx talks to NIT Raipur, and you were listening to me. Today, I had the honor and pleasure of listening to you in live,
Can you
and
hear
I
me?
must tell you, brother, my respect, regards, and my uh, I mean, it's really, Khongsai, you have won my respect multifolds now today. Really, seeing your views, such balanced, such mature, इतने अच्छी राय रखते हैं आप वाकई में. So, one question I have right now before I let you go. You mentioned about our academy days. You have okay. He his Major Khongsai's network has gone, but let me tell you, it was a wonderful conversation, guys. And please do share it and let us bring about peace in Manipur for heaven's sake. Manipur needs peace. Such beautiful people, amazing people, such beautiful land, such beautiful countryside, such a beautiful state. It really needs peace at this time. तो बैठे ही आप लोग अभी अपना कंट्रीब्यूट करिए अपनी तरीके से आप संदेश पहुंचाइए नॉर्थ ईस्ट में ऑफ पीस पीस एंड पीस टेक केयर जय हिंद